The building wasn't new, but it wasn't old enough to feel haunted. That's what I told myself when I got the job. It was a night shift position, security and maintenance for an office building in the city. The pay was good, the work was easy, and for the first few nights, nothing happened. Just empty hallways, dim lights, the quiet hum of machines left running overnight, and the elevator. There were 10 floors in the building, basement, ground, and 8 office floors. At least, that's what the panel said. B, G, 1, 8. Nothing strange about that. Until the 4th night. I was sitting at the desk in the lobby when I heard it. The elevator. Moving. Slowly. But no one had entered the building. I checked the security cameras, empty, every floor, every hallway, no movement. But the elevator kept going. Down. Past the basement. I stood up slowly and walked toward it. The display above the door didn't show a floor number anymore. Just a blinking line, like it didn't know where it was. Then, it stopped. The doors opened. There was no light inside, just darkness, thick, heavy, like the inside of the elevator wasn't there anymore. I didn't step in. I just stood there, waiting. Then I heard it, breathing from inside, slow, patient. I slammed the button to close the doors. They shut immediately. The elevator started moving again, up, like nothing had happened. The next morning I told the manager. He didn't laugh. He just stared at me for a moment and said, "Don't use the elevator after 3 a.m. That night I didn't, not at first. But around 3:17, I heard it again, the elevator, moving. This time I didn't go to it. I stayed at the desk, watched the cameras. Every screen flickered at the same time. Then one camera changed. The elevator camera. Inside the elevator, I saw myself, standing there, facing the door, smiling. The elevator opened in the lobby. I didn't move. I couldn't. Because I knew if I looked up, I would see myself standing there. After that night, I started losing time. I would sit down. Then suddenly it was morning. The cameras would glitch, show movement where there was none. Sometimes I saw the elevator open on empty floors, and someone would step out. Someone who wasn't there. One night, I finally stepped inside. I don't remember deciding to. I was just suddenly there, standing in the elevator. The doors closed behind me. The panel had changed. There were more buttons now. Numbers that didn't exist before. Negative floors. -1, -2, -3. And below them, a button with no number at all. Just a symbol. The elevator started moving down, past the basement, past the floors that shouldn't exist. The lights flickered, then went out. And in the reflection of the metal walls, I wasn't alone. The next morning, the building was open, everything normal, except for one thing. The security guard had disappeared. No sign of him, no footage, no record of him ever working there. But sometimes, late at night, the elevator stops at the lobby and the doors open, and inside, someone is standing there, smiling, waiting. We found the story online on a forum that looked like it hadn't been updated in years. A security guard had disappeared during a night shift in an office building downtown. The last thing he wrote about was the elevator. He claimed it moved by itself after 3 a.m., went below the basement, and opened onto floors that didn't exist. Most people in the comments called it fake. But the building was real, so we went. There were 4 of us, and our channel was all about testing creepy stories. Abandoned houses, haunted roads, weird urban legends. Most of the time, nothing happened. We would film a dark place, scare ourselves a little, then edit it into something dramatic. This one felt different from the beginning. The building looked ordinary from the outside. Tall glass doors, clean lobby, security desk. Nothing creepy, nothing abandoned. That almost made it worse. We entered just before midnight, pretending to be filming a documentary about old office architecture. The receptionist didn't care. She barely looked up when she gave us visitor passes. "Don't stay too late," she said. We laughed. Then she added, "And don't use the elevator after 3. No one laughed after that. The elevator stood at the far end of the lobby, silver doors, bright buttons, a small digital display above it, BG123, all the way up to 8. Nothing strange. We filmed an intro, wrote it up and down, checked the stairwell, checked the basement. Everything looked normal. At 2:50 a.m., we returned to the lobby and set up the cameras. One pointed at the elevator doors. One pointed at the button panel. One pointed at us. For a while, nothing happened. Then the building went quiet. Not normal quiet, heavy quiet. The kind that makes you aware of your own breathing. At exactly 3:17 a.m., the elevator display lit up. No one had pressed the button. The elevator began moving. Down. Past the basement. The display should have stopped at B. It didn't. It changed to a blinking line. Then the doors opened. Inside was darkness. Not dimness, darkness. The ceiling light inside the elevator was off, and when we shined a flashlight inside, the beam seemed to fade before reaching the back wall. One of us whispered, "No way." We should have left. Instead, we stepped closer. The air pouring out of the elevator was cold and smelled faintly of wet concrete. One of us leaned in with the camera, then he froze. "What?" I asked. He didn't answer. He was staring into the elevator like he saw something we couldn't. Then he said very quietly, "There's someone in there." We all stepped back. The elevator remained open, waiting. Then the buttons inside began lighting up one by one, BG1, 2, 3. Then buttons appeared below them, -1, -2, -3. And beneath those, one more button glowed red. No number, no label, just a blank circle. One of us reached toward it. I grabbed his wrist. "Don't!" He looked at me, but his eyes seemed unfocused. Then he smiled. Not like himself, like someone listening to instructions. He stepped inside the elevator and pressed the blank button. The doors closed immediately. We screamed his name and slammed the call button again and again. Nothing. The display stayed blank. No numbers, no movement, just that blinking line. Minutes passed, maybe longer. Then the elevator returned. The doors opened. He was inside, standing perfectly still, smiling. At first we were relieved. Then we noticed his camera was gone. His jacket was wet, and his shoes were covered in dark mud. He stepped out slowly. "What happened?" I asked. He looked past us toward the lobby doors. Then he said, "It's bigger down there." Behind him, inside the elevator, something moved. A shape, tall, still, watching from the darkness. The doors began to close. Just before they shut, the shape raised one hand and waved. The footage cuts out there. The next morning, the building reported no break-in, no missing person, no incident. But one of us never came home. When we searched his apartment, everything was gone. His clothes, his photos, his name from our channel page. Even videos where he had been standing beside us now showed empty space. Only the elevator footage remained. And in the last frame, just before the doors closed, you can see him standing behind the dark figure, smiling, waiting for the elevator to stop again.